Hi, my name is Neb Kamusenatumre. This is another in our series, our Black History series. This one is entitled Rebuttal to the Real Liars. The Jim Crow Scarecrow. In scroll number 190, Ancient Egypt and the Pharaohs on page 188. We read, Wadjet, also known as Idiju, was worshipped in pre-dynastic times in the form of a cobra, sometimes winged. She was also known as Buto, named after the town in the northwest delta, which may have been the place of origin of her culture. Buto is also the deity who guards Lower Egypt. As the fire-spitting cobra Wadjet, she represented the eye of Ra. So does Tehuti, remember? Upon whose forehead, Ra's forehead, she was stationed to protect him from his enemies. Also, in a protective role, it was Wadjet who watched over Aset, and the young Haru in their time in the swamps of the delta, defending him from Sotoch. Set. She, Wadjet, was the patron female deity of northern Egypt, the counterpart of Nekhebet, the vulture-headed deity of Upper Egypt, and is shown as a snake wearing the red crown of Lower Egypt. The Afertiad pharaohs of the United Land wore upon their brows figures of both the cobra, known in this form as the Urias, and the vulture side by side. Together, the two female Nitirted, Wadjet and Nekhebet, were known as Neptui, meaning the two mistresses. Wadjet was the royal cobra, and the other cobra, female Nitirted, Renentet, and Mertisekirt, were worshipped by the lower ranks in society. Renentet was a fertility nitirti, the nitirti of harvest and childbirth. At times she appears with the solar disk upon her head. Mertisekirti was portrayed as a woman, but could have the head of either a snake or a vulture. She was the guardian of the necropolis of Thebes. Wadjet can also appear as a lioness, and sometimes, perhaps because of her association with Nekhebet, she, like Mertisekirti, take the form of a vulture. One of her names means the papyrus colored one, referring to the green color of her skin, as is Tehuti skin. And according to the pyramid texts, she created the papyrus swamps in the delta in which she lived and was worshipped. Unquote. Please remember, this is important. It will pop up again later. Now, good people, Nepcamus is about to show you why he never quotes from these FBI COINTELPRO publications named The Master Secrets and Actual Facts. Now let us begin on page 301 of the Degree of Mohammedism. Here we read, in the year 1932, at the age of 41, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, called Wallace Dodd Ford into their office to inform him that they never intended for him to deify himself and that he must control his followers and the attacks made verbally on whites. This was something he could not control. Upon the FBI's release of a picture as of May 26, 1933, 80, by a Detroit Police Department, here Wallace Dodd Ford, W.D. Ford, W.F. Muhammad is seen holding a book and explaining what he teaches to Special Agent Sergeant Investigator Sergeant Oscar Barry and Sergeant Charles W. Snyder during his arrest November 23rd, 1932. He was released on December 6th, 1932. Then arrested May 25th, 1933 in Detroit. This picture is of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and standing beside him is his son Wallace D. Muhammad, who got his name, they say, from the man on the picture behind them, whose name on the police file when arrested on June 12th, 1926 AD was W.D. Ford. The W, as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was Wallace, and that was why he named his son Wallace, after the man in the picture on the wall, who was first claimed to be their prophet and later became Allah himself in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. More serious difficulties arose over the question of human sacrifice. Fard's position on this was never clearly made. He taught explicitly that it was the duty of every Muslim to offer a sacrifice, Caucasian devils, in order that he might return to his home in Mecca. The Prophet also taught that Allah demands obedience unto death from his followers. No Muslim dare to refuse to sacrifice himself or his loved ones if Allah requires it. This led to a murder on November 21, 1932. A prominent member, Robert Harris, renamed Robert Kareem, erected an altar at 1249 Dubois Street, Detroit, Michigan. His roommate, John J. Smith offered to present himself as a human sacrifice, at which time Harris stabbed Smith in the heart, which caused Wallace Dudford to be arrested by the local police, who did not know of his FBI assignment. He explained who he was and what he was doing. They didn't believe him, and they beat him up and arrested him. Then the local police released him, telling him to get out of Detroit. He informed Elijah Muhammad on May 20, 1934 that he was leaving to go back to the Holy City. He officially departed on June 30th, 1934 at age 43. This is the date of departure recorded by the Nation of Islam, and it seems that he is never heard from again, as the story goes. Now page 332, 323 picks up another angle to this account. It states, a year later, after leaving Newark, Abdul Ali Muhammad, the original or real one, appeared in Chicago in 1380. Now, at the same time, unbeknownst to him, a Caucasian named Wallace Dudford arrived in Los Angeles, California in the year 1480, calling himself W.D. Ford, a common criminal involved in anti-American Nazi propaganda. He arrives there from Portland, Oregon, his place of birth, a Mormon by religion. This one is the impostor called the Prophet, which later became Fard. He had just arrived from Portland, Oregon, his place of birth, born in the year 1891. Although it's listed as 1877 by Nation of Islam sources, the date may vary in other books because Wallace Dudford in the late 1920s assumed the birth date of Abdul Ali Muhammad. The impostor W.D. Ford, abbreviating Wallace Douglas Fard, is another of his names on police report, which I obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. Wallace Douglas Ford birth year is listed 1891, not 1877. When he was exposed, the impostor had to step back and keep somewhat of a low profile. He did teach classes on the theology of time, man, and actual facts. He flew back and forth from California to Chicago and would attend Friday meetings. Now, let us jump to page 366, where we read, the third person, Professor Muhammad Abdullah, a Pakistani that had been communicating with Elijah Muhammad by mail since 1945, taught classes on the theology of time, man, and actual facts. This tells us, people, that actual facts came from the FBI to the Nation of Islam. These female undercover FBI agents calling themselves messengers, same tactic, have been bringing FBI actual facts to destroy Nuwaubu and the ancient Egyptian order. Here is proof for you die-hard victimizers who refuse to let go of the incarceration illusion. In the guidance of the Master, in the guidance of the Master, publication, scroll entitled Bamboo Gazette, chapter entitled The Real Liar. We read, now at this point in time, Wadjet, the Cobra, the one with the full knowledge of Hika powers, magical powers, who only whispers the secrets of divination. He is called by some the keeper of the records. He was more prudent, cunning, wiser than any living being in the flesh of the simian baboon beast of Tamare, which Paneb Bes, which Paneb Patar Shilpanitiru had brought from Sept, Sirius, and appointed. That was Paneb Patar, not Bes. My bad. Patar. Okay. Now, if Tehuti only whispers the secrets of divination, this would make Tehuti Nachash, or Chanes, the whisperer, one of Zuen, Shaitan's apophis, the devil's names. Do you see the subtle definition on Tehuti's character here, people? Okay, so that would be strike one. The ancient Egyptian order also teaches us that Bes, that Bes is the ancient pygmy or dwarf deity, Onitir, of the elixir of life and rejuvenation, music, love, and the war. The guardian of the doors and the custodian of the secret initiations and the keeper of the threshold leading to the power of fire. He guarded the child deity against attacks of serpents. The Patar that if you persevere in following leads to sublime satisfaction. Bes represented the pygmies who had telepathic powers. Bes's most important attributes were the saw, symbol of protection, a knife for defense, and the musical instruments whose sound scared off evil spirits. Bes was depicted as clad in the traditional African leopard skin, which also called Bes, clearly stating that he is of African birth. To wear a leopard skin in ancient initiation ceremonies signified the control of vital power, the ability to rejuvenate and maximize one's car spirit. He is portrayed as a midget, which were the first human beings on this planet, with a huge bearded head and squat, bowed body called the old boy or the old man rejuvenating himself, and is linked to music and pleasure, which are necessary elements in the work of transformation. His name derives from Besu, from Besa or Basu, the name of the animal whose skin he wears, and that would be the leopard, right? Are you with me? Yoda of Star Wars was copycatted from Bess. Look at him. Of ancient Egypt. We also notice here that Tehuti is called by Wadjet the cobra. However, in the AEO scroll, being an Egyptian initiate, we read on page 7, and I quote, Tehuti is depicted as a man with the head of an Aeon baboon or a Heb ibis bird, unquote. Never a cobra. Wadjet or Edeju, Renentet and Mertisikirti are the cobra deities, and they are all females. So that would be strike 2, wouldn't it? Someone has maliciously tampered with right knowledge in order to disrespect the Netir best. Netir Tehuti and his incarnation, and cause confusion. You see, people, this here scroll was the first one to be released by the female messengers right after the incarceration illusion. Dr. Malachi Z. York was obviously unavailable to address our questions and concerns, as he usually does with the release of any new information. Total newcomers to the Nubian nation who had just popped up within the last 5 years from 2002 were assuming the positions as our messengers. They could not be traced back as being members of any of our previous schools, Mosesism, Christism, nor Mohammedism. Yet here they are up front, up close and personal, as intermediaries in leadership roles, as ones who should be trusted. No one could get to the Father. Only these infiltrates. This was the perfect setup for the coup d'etat on the science of Nuwapu by these co-intel pro-female moles. They were claiming the exclusive rights of visitation over and above he who everyone thought to be Dr. Malachi Z. York's immediate family and his loyal entourage of males and females of over 30 years. Something was totally wrong with this picture. It didn't sit well with his loyalists. These agents claim these are Dwight York's orders. You see, Dwight York, a clone, was incarcerated. Dwight is the name of Dr. Malachi Z. York's son. Total confusion. Pull it up. Pull up the case and see for yourself. And this here scroll was the beginning of these undercover agents' attempt to replace Tehuti himself. destroy Nuwaupu and dismantle the nation. However, it was also the ultimate test to see who was dumb enough to replace Nuwaupu with these core Intel Pro actual facts and master secrets. Now let us continue with the real life. So it continues. So it was Tehuti, son of the Nekhebet, and the Nekhebet, one of the many Tehuti as Wadjet, spoke with the female note of the sky, daughter of Shu of the air, breath of life, and Tefnut, moisture circulatory system. Let me repeat that. So it was this Tehuti, son of Ptah and Nef, don't have a picture here, one of the many Tehuti as Wadjet spoke with the female note, of the sky, daughter of Shu, and Tefnut. So daughter of Shu of the air, breath of life, and Tefnut, moisture circulatory system. So Tehuti said to Nut, did the Netiru say you should not betake of any and all of the trees of Hut Ptah? And the female Nut answered Tehuti and said, Tupa Wadjet, we myself and my consort, give of the ground earthling are allowed to be take of the trees of Pahot Ptah. Here again is another inconsistency. The wisdom of Tehuti, the grand Hierophant, on page 8 tells us, quote, Tehuti came down from Septet, Sirius, and he spent time on Sahu, Orion, and was a part of the Moon and Mars project in the seeding of this planet. Being a man from planet Rizqa in the 19th galaxy Ilion, he has no mother or father, beginning of days, no end of days. He has no mother or father, beginning of days, no end of days. Unquote. Do you follow? So let us continue with the reading. However, of the fruits which are in the center, Dendera of Edfu, and Itirat has told Geb, not speaking, has told Geb, you are not to be take of it, nor are you to touch it, or you will drop dead. And the Wadjet said to the female note, Panebes is lying to you. If you betake of the fruit, you will not drop dead. That's a lie, because Nitirat only told Geb that lie because Panitir Bes knows the truth, that the very moment you betake of this Muf Kuzet liquid gold, elixir, monatomic gold, that your Udajet eye will open, and your light body will activate your car spirit and bar soul in your hard body. And Muf Kuzet, the elixir, will transfigure you back into Panitiru. And as such, you will recognize the agreeable Netiru from the disagreeable Nitiru. He will have no power you don't have. He won't have no power you don't have. Okay now, good people. See, here we see Nekhebet Houthi disrespecting Nekhebet in favor of two mortals. Mortals, why and why? Wouldn't that make the Houthi disagreeable? And wait a minute, is this not the exact same story of Kadmon Adam and Nekhebet Eve in the enclosed garden of the light, the Garden of Eden? Okay, let's continue. And when the female was exposed to the Houthi's tree of life and saw that the tree fruit elixir tastes good and tastes like food, and that the liquid gold elixir of the tree of the Houthi looked healthy, his fathers at the ritual of Pa Nitirmin and raised the apron of Pa Wadjet to reveal the serpent of the Houthi and betook of the elixir of gold of the Nitiru, its fruit thereof, and she not became a personification of the cosmic elements and evolved, transformed into a Nebti of Pawati Hadhar, of Pawati Hadhar of On, Anu, Heliopolis, and Nebti of the over the skies as she is seen today, mother of all living. Now, let us stop here to do some fact checking. Firstly, note is the daughter of Shu and Tefnut, who are the first offsprings of Amun-Re. So, shouldn't Tefnut be the mother of all living? Now, let us fact check this tree of Tehuti, the tree of life, in scroll number 51, the baptism ceremony. On page 52, which we read, now after being influenced by Zoan to eat from the tree, which is really referring to now after being influenced by Zoan to eat from the tree, which is really the tablets of destiny, they, Kadmon and Nekhebet, knew of their nakedness because